How's it going, guys? Cody, guys, back again, dropping out another video. Right, guys, this is a story coming out of HMP Birmingham again. Surprise, surprise. This is in Birmingham Live, right? The headline reads, "Chilling death threat from inside HMP Birmingham sent to girlfriend of an inmate." The grim missive underlines the lawlessness allowed to fester in privately run HMP Birmingham. Obviously, it's not privately run anymore. It's in the hands of the public sector, HMP, Her Majesty's Prison Service. The chilling text messages sent from within the walls of crisis-hit Birmingham prison is brief, brutal, and to the point. In 5 sinister words, it leaves no doubt what awaits a fellow inmate should his girlfriend not pay the drug debt owed to him. "Only you can save him now." When no reply is forthcoming, the sender gloats, "Take that as a no then." The text was sent by one of the Shames prison's daddies after the girl initially refused to part with £100, drug money racked up by her partner. The scared woman, who was asked not to be identified, received the warning at work. She admits that she's fearful for her man's life. She eventually relented. The grim massive underlines the lawlessness allowed to fester in privately run HMP Birmingham, a jail in turmoil that this week the government has wrestled control from security firm G4S. Shocked inspectors described the state of the prison as a state of crisis and found blood, vomit, cockroaches and rat droppings. Some staff were fearful. In a withering indictment, Chief Inspector of Prisons Peter Clark told BBC Radio 4, "Squalor, filth, the air hanging, heavy with the smell of drugs, a dilapidated physical environment, a sense of great instability, a feeling that at any time violence could break out. This is the only jail that I visit. Hold on. This is the only jail, and I've visited many jails now, where I personally was forced to leave a wing because of the effects the drugs were having on me." Of the crumbling prison regime, he concluded, "Surely somebody must have been asleep at the wheel." It doubtless did not help one of the inspectors. Vehicles were torched in the car park during their visit. Mr. Clark's acid comments come as no surprise to the young woman pressured by the prison's ruthless band of behind-bars drug dealers. She was petrified and in tears, a relative told the Sunday Mercury. She got the message at work. "We have a paper trail of text, the demands becoming increasingly more sinister. They begin with polite, 'Did you do that payment for him, thanks?' The recipient replies, 'What's it for? I'm getting really worried.' By late March, the masquerade of bonhomie has been well and truly stripped away. 'Yes or no? Is it getting done?' asked the dealer. Girlfriend, 'I haven't spoke to him and stopped giving him shit before it's paid for. Stop giving him shit before it's paid for. I'm at work.' Dealer said, 'If we can, we'll sort this out.' Girlfriend, 'Sort what out?' 'Stop giving him fucking shit before he fucking ends up dead.' 'He owes me £100. He owes me £100. You paying for it? Yes or no? Only you can save him now. Take that as a no then.'" And then there's a screenshot here, guys, right, of the actual, of some of the messages. This is obviously on the website and everything. Reports of violence, bullying, fearful staff and inmates come as no surprise to one Birmingham mum who watched her son descend into a stupor of drug addiction during his time in a Winson Green jail. A lockup, some have said, claimed by cartels of hardened criminals. The woman has told the Sunday Mercury how she fed more than £2,000 to lags through a maze of bank accounts after her 28-year-old son ran up bills for potent cannabis hybrid Black Mamba. Despite the something's going off around here, telling you. Despite the steady drip feed of cash from mum, the inmate still had to hand over trainers and clothes to ruthless drug debt collectors. I think I covered that in a vlog down the line. He eventually torched his own bed in a desperate bid to be free from the poisonous prison environment. Just weeks ago, the inmate, who has mental health issues, got his wish. He was moved. Fighting back tears, the woman recalls the last meeting with her son at HMP Birmingham. "He looked like Man Friday," she said. "He had a ripped t-shirt, he had to borrow someone's flip-flops, his clothes had been taken by other prisoners, he looked awful, he looked ill, he was thin, his teeth were terrible, all he could say was 'Don't cry, mum.' I thought he's going to die, and I expected that call. I asked him why he was taking the stuff, and he said it was to get him through the day." Not surprisingly, the individual failed a behind-bars drug test, punished with an extension to his sentence. Those extra days have cost him his council home, says his mother. "I was pleading for help," she says. "He was calling for help. They did a drug test and it proved positive, as everyone knew it would. I had told them what was happening. The prisoner's embarrassment, a total embarrassment. From the moment her son arrived at the prison in December for offences of violence, our source says she flagged up concerns to staff. She also contacted her MP. Now everything has come to light, she adds. I feel more angry because they were saying he was fine. How could anyone look at him and say he was fine? He set fire to his mattress. Where did he get the matches or lighter? Loads of matches and lighter in prison. Loads of them. And then you've got pad lights as well. She knows only too well the influence some inmates enjoy on the wing. That influence, she maintains, has spread to the outside world. Her bank account reveals a payment made, she said, to prisoners' wives and girlfriends. She too was phoned from inside by those who supplied Mamba to her son. February saw a hemorrhage of cash from the parents' bank account. There was £25 on Friday, February the 1st, £55 on the 6th, £30 on the 7th, £50 on the 14th, £40 on the 15th, £40 on the 19th, £90 on the 22nd, £50 on the 26th, £80 on the 27th and £50 on the 28th. On the outside, if my son asked me for £100, I'd say no, she said. I paid them because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know what would happen to him if I stopped, and I'm not the only one. Savage inspection on HMP Birmingham. Inspectors found HMP Birmingham to be in an appalling state, an environment polluted by widespread violence plagued by drug use and poorly controlled by terrible staff. During the visit between the 30th of July and August the 9th, many inmates appeared to be under the influence of drugs. Staff were inexperienced and poorly led, some said to be fearful for good reason. There was 1,434 assaults at HMP Birmingham in the 12 months until July 2018, the highest figure of any prison in the country. In 2016, the bubbling cocktail of drugs, violence and ineffective control boiled into a mass 15-hour riot that saw prisoners take cell keys. It was only the second ever jail to be assessed by Her Majesty's Inspectorate of Prisons as poor, the lowest ranking in all areas. Prisons Minister Rory Stewart, what we have seen at Birmingham is unacceptable, and it's become quite clear that drastic action is required to bring about the improvements that we require. Those improvements have already begun. 300 dangerous criminals have been shipped out, including terrorists and mobsters. A new highly experienced governor and 30 more staff are being shipped in. The government will be in control of HMP Birmingham for at least 6 months. It will only be returned to G4S when sufficient progress has been made. Why would you bring a prison up to the scratch and then give it to them jokers that couldn't run a bar? Grim life ruled by drugs. The dog-eat-dog existence this is a lagged lot inside the Category B prison, as being graphically detailed by one former inmate. He blames the rise in Mamba, the mind-bending spice and cannabis, for a spawning a culture for bullying. Bullying breeds from drugs and it's all over money, he says. It has to be stamped out. I was smoking Mamba and weed, but got off it. Others don't. The searches of cells are shit. There were 5 iPhones on my wing. If you have a phone, you are breeding more crime. Even now, people are ringing me from inside. Staff are inexperienced. They're employing kids, and all it takes is for a prisoner to say, leave me alone. They are out of their depth. In March alone, 4 inmates died. At least 2 of those were linked to the drugs behind bars drug culture. The body of Ricardo Holgate was found on March the 26th. He was only a teenager. He had preyed on prostitutes in Bristol. Reports at the time alleged 35-year-old had overdosed on black mamba or spice. He then took monkey dust. Says the released Robert, it's as powerful as crack, it's yellow and it's mushy. To his credit, HMP Birmingham effectively cracked down on the delivery of drugs by drones, but the prison pushers simply found a more innovative way of receiving their supplies. Letters from outside were being soaked in liquid black mamba, our source claims. A sheet of A4 cost £200, says the former prolific offender, but they can be cut into £50 strips. Right, that's that, guys. Thing is, yeah, with drugs in prison, right, the first initial bit, right, obviously, you get people in prison that are addicted to drugs, and then, like, obviously, they get the drugs on tick, and then, obviously, they have to contact their family on the outside, and then the threats of violence, so people pay up because they don't want their loved one to get done in. Other prisoners lie. They say that they need money for this, that and the other, and they don't. They're just, like, you sending them in and you send it in and just stockpiling the money and everything. But like I say, by giving them the money, you're feeding the addiction. But if you don't, they're in families and loved ones, right, are stuck in a real, like, catch-22, rock and a hard place. If you send the money, there's a chance your loved one could overdose or take a funny turn on the drug and die, and it could kill him. If you don't pay it, it could be attacked within an inch of his life. It's a no-win situation, guys. It's a sad state of affairs. And families are really caught between a rock and a hard place, as I alluded to. On that note, guys, like, comment, subscribe, Cody out.